is Brad Rosley, and welcome to another session of How to Use MoneyGuide Pro. Today we're going to focus on what to do now that all the information is already into your financial planning software. Again, we're going to start on the My Plans area, and from there, this time we're going to click on My Goal, My Financial Goal Plan. And once we're in here, today we're going to go to Results. And from here, while you can have fun and look at what the summary looks like, what the play zone looks like, today we're going to focus on the What If worksheet. The What If worksheet is so valuable because it allows you and I to play with some of the variables and see how the outcomes will then change. There's a lot of variables in long-term planning, especially on the retirement plan side with things like inflation and rates of return on investments. So now that we're here, we're going to look in this area here under What If scenario. Here it's in blue. And in the summary area here, you'll see a quick chart that says the confidence zone here says 79%, which is actually pretty good. I like to start by looking at the plan details under the What If. You can look either under, I go under average returns, by goal, or with combined details. Either one is very useful. I'll start with combined details. And when I go to the combined details, I'm going to see every goal in your financial plan and go through what all this means. Obviously on top here we have a graphic picture that shows your assets and what they're worth along the timeline. We have qualified assets, we have taxable assets. Qualified means retirement plan assets, taxable assets. If you want to look at the numbers part, the numbers part starts by your age in the year over here on the far left. Beginning portfolio value is divided into two columns. One is earmarked assets. Earmarked means you attach the assets to a specific goal. For example, if you had a college savings plan, you would attach that to the goal of that child's college. Fund all goals is probably the most common. If you have money in a brokerage account someplace, or you just want to attach it to any goal that you have, it will show up when it fund all your goals. For future savings, it shows here additions to assets. This could be a 401k plan or any other place where you're saving money every year. Post-retirement income, in this column here, is generally going to be if you have Social Security income you're expecting, if you intend to work part-time, you could have a figure here, or if you have a pension, it could also show up in a post-retirement income. Investment earnings, all your investments in your portfolio have an assumed rate of return, and that shows up here. The taxes that go along with that. And then we come into our goals. We have the needs and wants, and there could also be a column for wishes. And this is based on your priority level on these goals. So you'll see this retirement goal in this case, it started at $72,000 in their financial plan, but because we're inflating that, by the time they were able to ready to retire is up to $78,000 and growing. College for their two daughters is in here as well. Again, that's being inflated. In addition to their basic living needs for retirement, they also wanted to have what they called fun money, whether that be for going out or entertainment, things like that. And they also wanted to include a $5,000 travel vacation fund every few years. So as you can see, every year we have a starting value in your portfolio, we have additions to assets, we have it growing, and then we have money coming out to fund our different goals. And at the end, on the far right, we have our ending portfolio value. And as you'll see in this one example, the portfolio value, it goes down there pretty low. So this is a portfolio and a financial plan that is not going to be as sturdy as we'd like it to be ideally. We're going to close out of this for a minute and look at the what if scenario and what we can change in here to impact the plan. One of the things we can change is the rates of return. Here we see a before retirement rate of 5%. The current rate they have on the left is based on the historical average of your portfolio. I like to be more conservative than that. A second area that we can put a rate of return on is your during retirement rate of return. A third area that we could modify would be your retirement age. If you said, what if you waited to retire 1 more year or 2 more years or some other number? Obviously, another area is how much money you would need if you both retired, which is this figure here. We're using $6,000 a month. If we change that to $5,000 or $60,000 a year, it would make a dramatic impact. We also have you living. You can see that we can change each one of these goals. For college, we can change them. For retirement fund money, for number of occurrences, for travel, etc. We can also change on Social Security. I'm using an example here where they're only getting 50% of their benefit. They wanted to use a conservative number, being very concerned about those retirement benefits actually being there or possibly being tested out of some portion of their benefit because of their income. So I'm going to change that to 75%, and that'll make a dramatic impact on the plan. I'm also going to change the rate of return during retirement from 3% to 3.5%. And let's see, in order to do that, we have to hit calculate all scenarios. Now, the current plan shows $450,000 left in future value dollars before I made those changes. When I hit calculate all scenarios, remember we changed the Social Security income is going to go a little higher, 50% higher, and the rate of return went from 3 to 3.5%. And now we're going to have more money during retirement. Let me just double check on that number. Oops, 3.5. And let me move down here again to make sure I do that correctly. I'm sorry, I said reduce benefits by 75%. I should have said reduce benefits by only 25%. I went the wrong way there. But you can see how these calculations are going to impact every scenario. So let me go back and show this. And now, instead of having $400,000 at the end of the rainbow, we have $1.4 million. Just making those two little changes. So what you can see here is by changing some of these variables, the impact on the plan is potentially dramatic. And let's look at this by goal this time. So when I look at by goal, I can look at, let's look at college for Olivia. When I look at college for Olivia, it shows her value of the money in her college savings plan. It shows the money I'm adding to the plan, and then how much money is needed for the goals. And what this plan shows is her college fund here in the green, which is the assets earmarked, aren't quite enough to pay for her college. So she'll have to use some of the money that's set up to fund all goals, which is just fine. Now going back to the combined details where I was originally, let's take a look. And now we have a lot more money at the end of the rainbow because this post-retirement income number is substantially higher, because I said that we're getting 75% of the projected amount rather than only 50% of the projected amount. I also said that our investment earnings are going to be greater because during retirement, instead of making 3%, we said we're going to keep 3.5%. And those two factors being changed grew this number immensely. So my point of this is that you can look at these different assumptions and make changes and see the dramatic impact they may have on your plan. So that's how you use the what if scenario buttons on the MoneyGuide Pro software. This is something that you and I will probably spend a lot of time on during our review meetings, and I'll help you with it if you have any questions and during the meeting. Thank you very much for coming and listening to this video. If you have any questions at all, again, please give our office a call. Thank you for listening and have a great day.